Chapter 24 of the book of Joshua finds us at a pivotal moment in the history of the Israelites. Joshua, their leader, the man who had stood in the shadow of Moses and led them into the promised land, was old. His days were dwindling like the last embers of a dying fire. The promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey, had been conquered, but the conquering of a land and the building of a nation are two very different things. Joshua knew that his people, prone to wandering eyes and fickle hearts, needed a reminder, a firm foundation upon which to build their future. A leader can only lead for so long, after all. So it was, in the twilight of his years, that Joshua summoned the elders, the heads of their families, the judges and the officers of Israel. He gathered them at Shechem, a place rich with history, a place where God had appeared to Abraham and promised him this very land. Imagine the scene. A vast assembly of Israelites under the open sky, the sun beating down, the murmur of countless conversations. The air is thick with the scent of the earth and sweat, a testament to their long journey. They had come from all corners of the land, descendants of Abraham, united by blood and shared history. A tapestry of tribes, each with its own customs, yet bound by a common destiny. Joshua, the steadfast leader, stood before them, ready to deliver his final message. The air crackled with anticipation, every ear tuned to his words, every heart beat faster. They had seen war and peace, famine and plenty. They needed guidance for the uncertain future. Joshua's words would be their light, his wisdom their compass. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows, Joshua began to speak. His voice, though softened by years, resonated with authority. They hung on his every word, finding reassurance and hope. Joshua, ever the strategist, knew that before he could lead his people into the future, he had to remind them of their past. He understood that the strength of their future lay in the lessons learned from their history, a history that was rich with divine intervention and guidance. He began by recounting their history, a history intricately interwoven with the hand of God. Each event, each moment, was a testament to God's unwavering presence and support. He spoke of their ancestors, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and how God had chosen them, not because they were many, but because they were few. These patriarchs were the foundation of their faith, the first to experience God's promises and blessings. He reminded them of their time in Egypt, of their enslavement and subsequent deliverance by the mighty hand of God. The plagues, the Passover, and the miraculous escape were all acts of divine intervention that showcased God's power and mercy. He spoke of the Red Sea, of the manna in the desert, of the law given on Mount Sinai. These were not just stories, but pivotal moments that defined their identity as a people chosen and protected by God. He recounted their victories and their defeats, reminding them that through it all, God had been faithful. Whether in times of triumph or in moments of despair, God's presence was a constant, guiding them through every challenge. He didn't shy away from their failures, their moments of doubt and rebellion. These were times when their faith wavered and they turned away from God. Yet even then, God's love and patience never faltered. He reminded them of the golden calf, of their grumbling in the wilderness, of their fear in the face of giants. These were moments of weakness, but also opportunities for growth and learning. But through it all, he emphasized, God had never abandoned them. In their darkest hours, when hope seemed lost, God's light shone the brightest, offering comfort and direction. He had always been there, a pillar of fire by night, a cloud by day, guiding them, protecting them, leading them toward the land they now called home. This divine guidance was a testament to God's enduring faithfulness, a promise that no matter the trials they faced, they were never alone. Joshua's reminder was not just a recounting of history, but a call to remember and trust in God's unchanging nature, to have faith that the same God who led them through the past would continue to lead them into the future. Having reminded them of their past, the trials they had endured, and the victories they had achieved through faith, Joshua then challenged them about their future, urging them to consider the path they would take. He knew the temptations that lay before them, the enticing allure of foreign gods and the practices of the surrounding nations. The allure of the surrounding nations was strong, with their wealth, their customs, and their gods. The seductive whisper of idolatry was ever present, promising prosperity and pleasure. He knew that the human heart, prone to wander and seek new experiences, like a compass forever seeking north, was easily swayed, easily led astray by the glittering promises of false gods. The people needed a firm reminder of their true allegiance. "Choose this day whom you will serve," he declared, his voice ringing out across the assembly with unwavering conviction. He declared with a fervor that could not be ignored, his eyes blazing with determination. "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." It was a declaration of unwavering faith and commitment. It was a powerful moment, a defining moment that resonated deeply with everyone present. Joshua wasn't just asking them to acknowledge God, he was asking them to make a conscious, deliberate choice. He was asking them to choose him, to commit themselves to him wholeheartedly and without reservation. This commitment was to be total, encompassing every aspect of their lives, their thoughts, and their actions. This wasn't just a personal decision, it was a covenant, a solemn agreement with profound implications. A renewal of the covenant that God had made with their ancestors, a binding promise that carried the weight of generations. It was a pledge of allegiance, a commitment to follow God's laws and to live by his commandments, a commitment to study his word and to teach it to their children, to walk in his ways, to live lives that reflected his love and justice. It was a recognition that their freedom, their prosperity, their very lives were dependent on their obedience to him. Their obedience to him was not just a duty, but a source of blessing, a path to true fulfillment and peace. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.